Hello, I'm Tim, the Woodworking Maniac, and today I want to show you my new workshop. Now, I've had this place for a few months now, but due to this whole pandemic we've got going on, getting this place set up has been a little delayed. However, I did get some tools connected to dust collection temporarily, which you can kind of see off in the distance there, some ductwork about eye level. That was the ductwork I brought from my previous workshop, and I did not have the dust collection connected for every other tool. So I'll go over that in just a minute, but all of the ductwork that I had ordered just came in a few days ago, and we're ready to rock and roll and get all this dust collection put in. So that's going to be a project coming up very soon. Also, I'll be building an outfeed table for these two table saws. I'll be building a miter saw station, a sanding station, a huge lumber rack that also has sheet goods storage built into it. Quite a few new projects that'll be coming along here in the next few weeks, so hit that subscribe button, follow along. For right now, let me show you how I've got it set up for the time being. Now, as woodworkers, we all know the table saw is the heart of the workshop. So I have them right in the center of the workshop, and like I said, I will be building some outfeed support that'll be going over these cabinets that are here in the back. So that'll be a video here in the near future. What I have is a 12-inch Oliver table saw and a 10-inch Oliver table saw. My goal is to actually get them lined up to where the fence system could work either way on both. I don't know if I'm gonna really pull that off or not, but we're gonna give it a shot. So this one has a 12-inch capacity, that one has a 10-inch capacity. It allows me to set up different blades, whether I'm using a dado stack or what have you, and have different setups going at the same time without having to change the setup. So having two table saws is a big benefit. Not necessary, but a big benefit. So let's go around to this back wall around the table saw now. Now we're on the back side of the table saws themselves. I have a couple of these cabinets. These are big, huge cabinets that actually are made to store blueprints. The nice thing about these is they're made to handle a lot of weight, plus they're extremely deep, so I'm not really wasting any space going back and still able to put out like a 4-foot wide outfeed table. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. These can handle a lot of weight, and they're nice shallow drawers. So like different tools and things like that, a lot of times the shallow drawers are more useful than deep drawers. But we will get into more detail on that when I actually build the outfeed table that's also going to have some extra lumber storage right here in the center. So we'll get to that later. On down this wall of shelves that I've got going, I've got many other tools. On the other side of this wall will actually be my customer facing area. I'm going to be putting up some wall panels to kind of separate these two areas. I still have to lay some carpet in that area and get that set up as well. My goal is to try to get that set up for a November 1st grand opening. So we're going to see how well that works. So I'm going to go ahead and go down this line and show you what I've got set up here. So right here on the corner, I've got an 18-inch Oliver bandsaw, which has a 12-inch resaw capacity. Now, I have this thing tilted at an angle for a reason. One, it allows me to work at it, and I've got plenty space around it, but having it at an angle, I'm not forced to send product down this direction. I now have an angled attack, which means I have pretty much an endless infeed and outfeed for this. So if I am resawing a long board, I have that capability. Now, beside that, I've got a charging station for my DeWalt cordless tools, and I've also got this Bravo Prodigy CNC. This is a really small CNC that's actually a rotary CNC, so I can make like custom handles or pens and various different things, but it's small form factor. I haven't even had the chance to actually put this thing to use yet, but I'm excited to try that out on some projects. Now this is on a mobile cart. I can move it out of the way or what have you. It just kind of landed here for the time being. I don't know if this is really where it's going to end up staying, but it's here for the time being right now. We've got a drill press right over here, nice big floor model here. And once again, another mobile cart. This one actually built for demonstration purposes. So if I spin this around, it's got my logo on the back, and when I do craft shows and stuff like that, sometimes I'll do some lathe turning demonstrations. So that's what this is for. For the time being, it's sitting right here. Continuing on down the line, I have my Festool tools all stacked up right here. I will probably build some sort of storage for that. It may be actually at an assembly table that I'll build as well, which will be a totally different area of the shop. Not sure, haven't got that planned out yet. But we have a floor model spindle sander, a benchtop model spindle sander, and these are extremely handy to have. If you've never used a spindle sander, they do have some small benchtop ones. Having the floor model has been a dream though. The problem is I don't have dust collection connected to it, so you can see there's some sawdust here right now. When I use it, it's a mess. So I'm excited to get that ductwork connected in here and get all these tools connected to dust collection very soon. Now, right here, we do have an edge sander. Also a very nice tool to have. Not a necessity, but very nice. So if you're doing any sort of edges on panels or even like curved work or anything like that, I actually make a lot of game boards, and when I cut those out on the CNC, it doesn't leave a perfect edge, especially toward the end grain portion of it. Doing a quick little spin on this cleans it up in no time. So this is awesome to have. Once again, definitely needs dust collection. Can't wait for that to be connected. So let's work our way back around. So this is the beast I've been wanting to get connected for quite some time. I brought this smaller dust collector in from my previous shop, and I already had some Nordfab ductwork, and that's what I've got connected to it. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of what I've got going right now temporarily, but for now, this guy has not been used yet, and the biggest reason was because I was waiting on that ductwork, and part of that ductwork was changing from a 10-inch down to an 8-inch connection here. I did not have this piece right here. So I couldn't use this dust collector for the longest time. But the way the ductwork is going to go, it's going to come out of here and actually go up and across a beam through the center of my shop. So I'm excited to get that connected. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, follow along. That video will be coming in probably just a couple weeks. Next to this, I have a 16-inch joiner, and yes, I did say 16-inch. I had a 12-inch joiner previously at my other shop, and it was phenomenal. It's very nice to have that 12-inch joining capacity. When I came to the new shop and I was setting up with new tools, I decided to go with 16 inches because you don't ever want to go any smaller. But the primary reason for having such a large joiner, one, the capability of 16 inches, but the biggest thing is this long infeed and outfeed, which allows you to joint very long boards and get them very flat. Whereas if you have the shorter infeed and outfeed tables, you'll still end up with kind of a cup if you're trying to do a very long board. Now, also here at the edge of the camera, you can see I've got my Joburg's workbench here, and that's kind of in this central area here. I'll zoom out here in just a moment so you can see that. Now let's continue working our way around the corner. So working our way around this corner here, got some mobile carts with some lumber on it. I've got that 16-inch joiner that has a great infeed and outfeed, so it can go full length here and I can joint very long boards. I do have my Axiom Precision AR8 CNC back here. I'm debating on if it's going to land right here or if it's going to be moving down there, because I also have a lathe, a full-size lathe, that will be going in one of those locations as well, and that'll really kind of be determined once I get the ductwork put up. Now, speaking of that ductwork, as I mentioned, this was temporary. This is all just kind of running over here, and it's just sitting on the 5-foot ductwork by itself. So it's just kind of sat around here temporarily. I've been dealing with this for quite a few months now, and if you could tell, I'd have to duck under it to get around it. So my 25-inch planer, when I'm using that, I'm having to go in and around and back and forth. I have had to duck underneath this thing countless times. So I'm very excited to get that ductwork put in, which I don't know if you could see from the camera view, but all that ductwork is sitting back there ready to get installed. So follow along. I'm really excited about that video. Let's continue working our way around the corner. So right next to the planer is my drum sander. This is a 25-inch double drum sander. I am actually replacing this machine with the blue machine that's kind of back there. This is a 25-inch. That is going to be a 37-inch wide belt sander. Essentially, they have about the same sort of functionality, but the wide belt allows the belt to cool a lot faster, so you don't end up with a lot of burning when you're running through a sander. I do also have a lathe right here. This is just sitting here temporarily. It's on some furniture dollies at the moment because it will be going over there next to the CNC at some point here in the near future. Also, in the background here, I don't know if you could see it or not, I'll have to look at the video, but I have a large lumber storage rack. That'll actually be next week's video. So next Sunday, check it out. I'll show you how I built that. That can actually store thousands of board feet of lumber, plus quite a few sheets of sheet goods. So it's a really awesome thing to have. You'll definitely have to follow along and check that one out. So continuing the dust collection story, as I mentioned, this is all up here temporary, so I've had this fun little trip hazard right through here to connect my table saw. I've only got the 12-inch table saw connected, so I've got the one table saw, drum sander, planer, CNC, and jointer connected to the old dust collector. Basically the primary tools so I can actually somewhat function over the past few months. So on around, that wall over there will actually have a miter saw station built in there. That'll be a project coming up soon. As I mentioned, outfeed tables for the table saws. Next week will be that large lumber rack. I've got a sanding station that I'm wanting to set up. I'm going to make a sanding cart that's got the dust collection and all the sanders and everything kind of all into one unit. And an assembly area. So I'm going to be building out a large assembly table, and we'll probably have a mobile clap rack that I'll have to make for that as well. I've got a room that I'm setting up as a finish room, and for that there will also be a project because I'm going to be making a big air filtration system, so it'll circulate the air in there through with a large fan. And I've got the customer area, as I mentioned earlier, to set up. So there are a lot of projects that'll be coming along here in the next few weeks. So like I said, hit that subscribe button, follow along with my progress here. And I want to thank you just for following along today to kind of see what I've got going on here. It's been a while since I've actually posted any videos, and I'm excited to kind of get back at it. So here I should be starting with weekly videos on forward, and I'm excited to get back into the game on here. So hit that subscribe button, follow along. Once again, thank you. Have a great day. God bless.